Welcome to So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. Are you evaluating your career in real estate? Feel like you're ready for a fresh start? Or ready to take your career to the next level? This is your podcast. Welcome back to So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. I am here once again with my co-host, Alicia Soikawa. Hello, Alicia.
Hello.
And Deborah Morton.
Hey there.
For joining us again. Okay, so we have an interesting topic, I think, on deck today. And I think it's going to be interesting for a lot of listeners because everybody seems to want to be on YouTube these days. So we're going to talk about creating a successful and effective YouTube strategy and when it is right for you to do YouTube, how to know that, when maybe it doesn't make sense for you to implement a YouTube strategy. I'm going to pick Alicia's brain, particularly because she has been working on this for her own business. And I think she's going to be the resident expert for what to do here. And then I'd love to hear like some do's and don'ts, like what people should be careful of. What comes to me is as a coach, sometimes I get people who are like, I want to start a YouTube channel now. And my first thought is, what's the outcome that you want from this strategy? Because it's got to be compelling enough to keep you going. Because I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Alicia, that consistency is important. So, Alicia, tell us first, what was it that made you decide to dig into YouTube as a strategy?
YouTube's been on my sight line probably for years, even way before even got into real estate.
Mm.
Um, I have a husband that's really into all the things that are is up and coming. He was one that told me to buy Bitcoin and I didn't. So that just gives you perspective. And so we could not be here right now, but that was my problem. Um, so what I would say is this is that YouTube is great because it doesn't go away. Like whereas social media like your Instagram, Facebook, all these other things, it's in a scroll setting where
Mhm.
it's not forever. Where like there's a YouTube that you could have posted 15 years ago or even
Mhm.
when YouTube first came out and that video is still there and you can find it still, you can search for it, you can watch it and the person that made it can still accumulate those views over time. So
So
that's
it's
one of the
evergreen,
biggest difference.
cumulative. Yep. Okay.
It's searchable. It's
Mhm.
something that stays forever. It's more evergreen or like living forever.
Mhm.
And it also is a great way for people to discover you because obviously, since it's owned by Google, it kind
Mhm.
of attaches in the whole language of when people search things and have keywords. The whole big thing buzzword is keywords. And there will be thousands of people, VAs, and you will get bombarded. Every single agent needs to hear this loud and clear. And we're all laughing because we all get
I'm
hit.
sorry, I am laughing because it's brutal.
It's like every day I have 50 people either messaging me on Instagram, on my Instagram or my email,
Or
telling me, or my
WhatsApp.
YouTube
You have
or WhatsApp,
WhatsApp, you're
telling me
going to get
how
hammered.
much they can help me grow
Yeah.
my YouTube and I need
Yeah.
to sit down with them and I need to use them to help me. It's all crap.
Yeah. It's like, here's what's wrong with the arrow
Yeah.
with your YouTube strategy. And
I've
then they
analyzed your channel.
Yeah.
all right, so that's all bogus.
It is because you have to remember that no one really knows. And that's on purpose. Because if they really
Well,
knew, then they would take advantage of it. They're always changing the algorithm. They're changing. No one really, you can kind of get the hang of it for a while, and then something will tweak and shift, and it doesn't work anymore. And that's the
But
same thing with people really, you can say but sometimes it doesn't really work that way.
I got suckered into one of those initially and paid him some money and I was like, "Wow, this is great." But then you start looking at the backlinks that are attached to your stuff now and I was like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" So
what do
you
you mean? Okay, so I'm a layperson here who has just a very modest YouTube channel that my social media manager runs. So somebody reached out to you that way. You said, okay, yes, I'll enlist your services.
And
What
they
are the
fixed, yeah, his pitch was like all of them. We're going to
uh-huh.
fix your channel with backlinks and keywords and SEO
Okay.
descriptions to
Mhm.
get higher rankings, to get more views, to get more followers. And
Okay.
to a point, to a degree, any effort you put to that is going to be helpful. But what are they doing? What are they backlinking you to? What, like
Do you
all
not
the,
know? Is that what you're saying? Or was
no,
it
I
actually?
just was like, yeah, okay. Do you know when you don't
Okay.
know what you don't know, and guess how you learn? It's experience. I'm very
Okay. So
experienced.
hearing you say this, first of all, it makes me go, okay, I never mind, not something I really want to dig into. And okay, so Alicia, for you, when you're diving into a strategy like this with no real formula that anyone knows clearly how it works, how do you predict an outcome, first of all, and then how do you measure for success?
So first of all, there's two avenues you can go with YouTube. Just like with any social media, you can go the paid route, pay to
Mhm,
play, or you can do organic.
mhm,
If you go pay to play, you're never going to build your organic traffic because
mhm.
all you're doing is paying for the
That's what I did. Doesn't
right.
work.
It
It
doesn't work.
doesn't, like, let me confirm what she's saying is 100%
It
correct.
doesn't work because what all you're doing is paying the platform to push your content out to people, but they may or may not want it. And what
Mhm.
happens when you see something come across your YouTube, when you're trying to watch a YouTube and something comes across as an ad, what do you do?
Skip as
Yeah.
quickly as
But
possible.
that's why skippable ads are wonderful. We don't
And
want to discount those.
it's annoying too, right? And it's annoying to people or it's putting it in front of people that you really don't want to be in front of people. So it's not really your people. And so that's
Mhm,
why too, it's really important to also not ask everybody to subscribe to your channel unless it's the people you want to watch your channel. So I want to appeal to women that are agents or business owners or women that are trying to grow. So
mhm.
if I ask people to actually subscribe and like my stuff, it's that model, right? It's those people. If it's not, I'm like, please don't subscribe because you're going to mess it up. Because
Mhm,
if I asked a male 50-year-old male to subscribe to my channel and I'm the empowered woman and I want to
mhm.
talk to other women, it's confusing to out
Your
right
algorithm.
and
Or
like
if
Yeah.
me.
you ask everyone in your brokerage to
Yeah.
subscribe to your YouTube channel, you now have a following of realtors, and
Mhm.
that is not helpful to your YouTube algorithm.
No, because all you're doing, and then what you're telling the algorithm is, oh, you want this to go to all realtors in this area. No. So if you're
So
doing living in Maryland or living in Kent, then in Kentlands, then and you ask like me and Deb to
Mhm,
subscribe, that is
mhm,
so confusing to the algorithm because
mhm,
we don't
mhm.
really care what's going on there.
However, I am
Okay.
an empowered woman, so I do subscribe to
Yeah,
Alicia's.
y'all better subscribe to mine. All you female watchers, you better freaking get on there and subscribe. It's growing. It's growing. It's like it's gonna happen. I'm like the little engine that could, and one day it's gonna be like, wow.
Okay, so I want to ask you about that. So what I heard clearly is know your audience, be
Mhm.
crystal clear on who your
Yes.
audience is, and get those people to hear your message and to
Yeah,
subscribe, which it
yeah.
takes a little bit of elbow grease equity, it sounds like, reaching out
Yes, and you have to
personally.
know what you want. So many people post things and they're like, one thing is about this, and one thing's about that, and one thing is about
Yeah.
you gotta have some niche that you're in. I have a very hyper focused niche. So
Hmm.
my following is not going to be millions of people, and that's okay. I don't
Hmm.
need it to be. I just need a couple thousand maybe, right?
Okay,
If you
so
can
then let me ask
monetize,
you that
yeah.
then. Why? So let me take you to the outcome. What is, if you had your ideal outcome from your YouTube strategy, what is at the end of that rainbow for you?
So for me, end of the rainbow is visibility to the population I want to speak to,
Okay.
potential coaching clients that match what I want to
Okay.
coach,
Okay.
people clicking my affiliate links to purchase the
Okay.
recommended products that I'm using, and they're going to buy it anyway. So why wouldn't you sponsor me and buy it for me,
Hmm.
right? So it would be like my Amazon store. So monetizing is not the same. It's not necessarily trying to get to the point where then I can get ad money through YouTube. I don't want people to run ads on my videos because you lose a bunch of your followers when you do that. You just do.
Hmm.
And you get the big play button when you hit 100,000, you get the play button.
What's the
100,000
plan?
100,000 subscribers, YouTube gives you a gold play button.
What does that mean?
It's like an
What's
award because you hit 100,000. It's a big deal.
okay. Does it boost you in YouTube
Oh
world as
yeah.
far
I mean,
as,
yeah,
okay.
if you're 100,000 subscriber subs, that means you're monetizing and you're doing a lot of stuff on your And
Okay.
some
So
people
it
can make
sounds,
millions
Okay,
and millions
back
of
to a
dollars.
regular real estate
Yeah.
agent though.
yeah.
You have to know your niche. So
Yes.
for me, I like the homeowners who are in their age 50 or above in the
Yes.
North Metro suburban Atlanta area who are probably in a two-story home or a too large home and they're ready to downsize. And what I do is help people like that navigate the complexity of selling the big home and downsizing to the next home or purchasing two homes, a vacation home and a home. So that's my audience. There are other agents out there who their niche and their demographic is going to be veterans, or it's going to be first-time buyers, or it's going to be, the luxury market only. But if you try to be all things to all people, you
Right.
lose your voice.
All right. So let me ask you this question, Deborah. I love the example that you used of that audience and bringing us to this kind of regular real estate agent use case. How do you reach those people, keeping in mind that YouTube is the video equivalent of Google in, video format? So people are asking, how do I do this? Or help me with some problem, right? So how do you present yourself in a way in YouTube that you're going to capture that audience? Alicia, you can chime in here too.
Well, you have to speak to the challenges that the consumer has. So
Okay.
what I do is solve problems for people. So sometimes it would be an explanation of homeowners tax, like property taxes. So how do you appeal your property tax? How do you like anything that would appeal to somebody? And for me, it's easy because I'm in the demographic I'm speaking to. So
Yeah.
it is a very natural conversation to me. So things that are relevant to me matter. In
Mhm.
where I live, there are discounts for seniors and property taxes. So I can speak at length to a subject that would probably be very boring to a first-time buyer. They don't want to hear about, in addition to homestead exemption, you can get a senior exemption on your taxes. That is not material that Google or YouTube is going to force into somebody in their mid-20s who's
Yeah.
renting.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean about being focused. That's what Alicia's speaking about being
Yeah.
focused on your messaging. And then
Yeah.
other things would be, like how about I talk about stairs or landscaping or the cost of
Yeah.
maintaining your yard or your exterior maintenance costs, like all the
Mhm.
things that people in their 50s are tired of. The kids are gone. They want to travel. Oh, how about that? Vacation homes.
Mhm. And you're clear too on what your desired outcome is with your YouTube strategy is attracting your avatar client.
Right. It's not to get to the 100,000 that like a lot of people on YouTube, that's their thing. But for me, I don't need hundreds of thousands. I need people who are actually going to click and call.
Right.
I
And
And your
have a,
motivation
yeah,
is the clients that you're bringing
correct.
in. Yep.
I have a client that I coach in Arizona, Kelly Norton, and she has, I think, living in, it's a neighborhood in Arizona. She closes
she's going to
12.
be sad you don't recall right now because this is a
I'm
good
gonna I'm
shout
gonna
out
look it
moment.
up so I can
Kelly Norton, it's
shout out. Go ahead.
Kelley Norton. And
Okay.
don't subscribe to her unless, but that's, she'll tell you, please don't subscribe. You can look
Yeah.
at, but don't subscribe unless you're really trying to move to this place in Arizona. She regularly gets about 12 to 14 deals a month she's all YouTube. Like they fly in, they book an appointment with her. She shows them houses for the weekend. They buy a house and they leave.
Hmm.
Repeat, rinse,
That's
repeat, rinse,
sweet.
repeat.
Good for her.
And she's been doing this for I don't know
Yeah.
how long, but she doesn't have that many people.
Right.
And there's
You
not that
don't
many
have
views.
to have
You
high
don't have to. She has
subscribers.
like maybe
Yes.
100 views, 50 views. It's not like
Mhm.
thousands and millions of views watching her videos.
That's the beauty of YouTube that gets lost in the noise
Yes.
with the mega, like all of the noise, the people who are all trying to sell you something on YouTube, they have hundreds of the monetization of the channel. That's real. I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
not, but I sell houses to people in my demographic that I enjoy working with and it works.
The YouTube is a way for you to engage those people. And why YouTube is so different is because it's searchable. Like you can go and type in and
Yeah.
say, how do I sell my home? How do I downsize in northern Atlanta? I need
Mhm.
help. And then if you do the right keywords, it'll pull up Deb's page.
Right.
So for me,
Yes.
it would be like, how do I figure out how to grow my business as a new realtor or something like that? Or I need a business coach or growing. How do I grow personally and professionally? then maybe they would find mine.
Or like as a woman, how do I juggle life with children
Yeah.
and being married and running my own business, my own small business?
Or how do I
Alicia would
leave my
pop up.
job? How do I
Yes.
leave my regular job? How do I start a second career? How do I say no to people? Right? How do I take care of myself and not feel guilty?
So that's all empowerment. And for you, Alicia, your outcome, which you knew ahead of time, is attract coaching clients who are your avatar and also to monetize through
Yeah.
sponsorship with
Because
program.
there's a lot of stuff that we use. I personally use as an agent, as a woman. I don't know how
Mhm.
many people ask me about my skincare. I probably should be like having an Amazon store about that. Like literally, I got an email yesterday about it. I was like, oh, okay. You know, things like just the most random things that, but if you have an Amazon store, you get a little commission off of that. Like they're
You
gonna
know,
go
y'all
buy.
wouldn't realize that she's actually 63. She just looks
Yes,
amazing.
isn't that amazing?
But seriously, Alicia, the funny thing you do is every time we have a mastermind together, and she'll be like, "This is the skincare thing," and I'm like, "You need to put that on YouTube because you're like showing it, and we all buy it."
I
when
actually
we
have a
buy
new
it.
thing. It's the Glutaril from Nayan Patel about the glutathione blocker. Anyways, but I'm always doing,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and even if
Y'all,
you
the
get free
listeners would have
swag,
no
that's
idea
pretty
how
cool.
much we've invested because of Alicia
I'm
suggesting
an
products.
influencer that I don't
Yeah,
even realize I need to be paid for. It's like that's what they say.
yeah,
Influencer marketing is where it's all going to be now. It's not going to be
Mhm.
commercials and TV and this and that.
Right.
It's about people want to know when you go and look up a review, you want to know, did that person really get results?
Yeah.
How was that experience working with that agent? How, I
Mhm.
mean, we all go straight to Google to see what the reviews are before you go to a restaurant or before we do anything.
All right, let me take it back to some tactical things. Well, first of all, I want to ask you this question. If somebody says to you, Alicia, I think I want to start a YouTube channel and I don't want an outcome. I want this to be like a creative outlet for me. I just want this to be like for fun because I like making videos and being on camera. What do you say to that?
Okay, go do it. Because you
So you
just,
would say
all
you
I
spend
heard is it's not to make money, it's for fun, it's a creative outlet. Then we go do it and we don't need to talk about it anymore.
okay. So you're cool with somebody doing that. You're the real estate agent who
Mhm.
has their eye on a prize of a specific outcome or goal in their career. If that's their creative outlet, you're cool with that? Or would you
Yeah,
say,
it's no
"Hey,
different
that
than
out
you go, you know, if you're like a person that loves to run and you go running or you
there?"
garden. It's like some people just like being creative. Like some people are
Okay,
artists and draw on the side, and some
true.
people do
I
music,
disagree.
you know?
Oh, tell me, Deborah. What is it?
Honestly, the alternate
Yeah,
opinion there is go run, go garden, go do something else,
yeah.
but get off of YouTube if you're just playing. In
Well,
my opinion.
there's a lot of people with hobbies that they want to explore their hobby.
Mhm.
There's this one lady that she monetized making apple cider vinegar.
I know, but we're real estate. Like
So
Yeah,
that's my
but
like
question. Does
Meredith
it
is helping
track?
people. If
Does
you
it
want to be a
track?
real estate agent,
correct. But there are people that are real estate agents that have other lives and other beings. Your whole
oh,
identity is not your business.
oh.
Okay, and it doesn't detract, you don't think, from
I
your
don't think it does.
business?
It makes you a whole
Okay.
person. And honestly, there will be people that follow your YouTube channel that, and then they go, oh, and I happen to be an agent. Well,
So,
then
so
fine
what you're
because you're an
saying, what you're saying though is the
agent.
channel should be your creative outlet and not for real estate related content. That person should have two channels separate, one real estate, one creative outlet. That
Or
makes
because they,
sense.
yeah, and if they don't, or if they don't want to do YouTube for real estate at all, then fine, do what you want to do, but don't get mad when someone gets referred and they're like, well, they're not on YouTube, but this agent is, and I'm going to go with that agent that's on YouTube. It's just
Okay,
like
so
a
that
client
brings
that
me to the next
refuses to use
question.
AI, you know?
That brings me to my next question, which is how essential is having a YouTube um, channel or just some kind of YouTube presence? How important is it to an agent, the average agent's chances of success in real estate, would you say?
You said the word average. So if
Not
Average.
at
you're
all.
average, then it doesn't matter.
Okay,
If you want to
then
be
take to,
exceptional, then it
okay.
does matter.
Okay, so if your goal is to be in the top, let's say 10% of all agents nationwide, you've got to have a YouTube presence.
I would say yes. Something.
Okay.
You got to have something there. Just like you got to have a website. I'm sorry. You got to have a Google My Business page. I'm sorry. You got to have, if you don't have a Facebook and someone refers you, even as an agent to agent referral, you don't exist.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So YouTube is an important strategy regardless of what we're doing. Now, let me ask you this question. When somebody has a YouTube channel and is not consistently posting content to it, what happens?
It just sits there.
So is there any like downside to inconsistent
It's not meta.
thing?
No, it just sits there.
Okay. All right. So they can do this sporadically if they want to, but it's just not a real strategy to moving their business forward. All right. So
No,
let me ask you a couple more.
it could be like a holding cell for your
Okay.
videos.
Okay.
You
So
know?
that's not a terrible thing to get it started and then maybe you back off, create some content, and then come back to it. Okay. Another question I have for you is tactically with things like you mentioned keywords before.
Mhm.
For those who don't know, for people listening who just don't know, what are keywords? How are they used? Why are they important?
Do you want to answer that, Deb? Or do you want me to answer it?
I'd go for it.
Okay. So
Because I don't
keyword,
want to sound rude either. I like there's a point where if you're that new, then don't get on YouTube yet. There are other things you need to learn.
Yeah.
If you don't know what keywords means, then we have other things to work on.
so it'll
Yes,
be an
and
example.
at the same time, I want to give people listening, if
Right.
they're new,
So
like
Alicia should
a little
answer.
bit of a
So Deb
road.
is like being really like tough love. But the thing is, like, if you're on Instagram or anything else, it's kind of like remember when people didn't know what a hashtag was
Mhm.
when they first came out, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Why are they doing a number sign?" Like, I remember thinking when I first started, I was like, "What is this, Michael?" And he was like, "Oh my God, that's a keyword." I was like, "What do you mean?" So if they type that word in, everything with that has been tagged with that word will come up. So that's all it is. It makes you searchable. It's like, remember you used to go to the library and you used to look up like things, or if you go on Google and type in homes, if
Mhm.
whoever put that keyword as their keyword underneath the tags, that's going to be categorized. It's going to come and pull through. Is
Yeah.
that all
Okay.
it is? That's the most basic simple. But imagine this: if 300 billion agents, not that there's not many people, all put hashtag homes, how is yours going to stick out?
That was
You're
my next
going to be
question for you.
lost
How?
in the mix of it all. So you
Okay.
would have to put, like, you live in the Kentlands, so you would be hashtag Kentlands,
Mhm.
then hashtag Kentlands homes, hashtag Kentlands real estate. And you can
Mhm.
even be local market, like an actual neighborhood name. So if
Mhm.
someone types in Kentlands real estate, all of your videos will pop up first.
Yeah.
So
And
in
thinking
the
Everybody,
how
essence of
people
being
search.
helpful and not sounding too grumpy, you can use ChatGPT to
yeah,
help you with you want to the prompt would be is I need an SEO rich description and keywords for my YouTube video about XX in XX, like you have
yeah.
to give very good prompt, but ChatGPT will help you for those who are just starting out.
For
See,
Great
I'm
free.
with
suggestion.
you all.
Thank
I'm not
you.
that
Yeah.
grumpy.
Or you can pay a little bit and get something called YouTube Buddy
Mhm.
or vidIQ. I have vidIQ.
Yeah.
Some people, but the
I like vidIQ as well.
yeah, YouTube
Had
Buddy
you,
was the first.
yeah, I had TubeBuddy. I like vidIQ better. It's a
Okay.
paid thing. So if you're
The
just
page
starting
that they
out,
use.
you
It's
can
not that
use
much though.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
No, it's not. But for somebody who's just starting out, it's not that much adds up over time. Like how many, it's not that much do I pay for? It's ridiculous.
It is, but I
Yeah.
think if you know that you want to use YouTube and you know you're going to commit to it and you know that this is a path for you, then I think the sooner the better of you getting in and understanding what your keywords are going to be.
I think, Meredith, my opinion is for agents who are listening is that YouTube would be a lead pillar that needs to be worked like any other lead pillar. If
Correct.
open houses are your
Yeah.
lead pillar,
Correct.
great. Get really, really good at open houses and convert from it. Likewise, if YouTube is a lead pillar of choice, you need to put effort into it with an executable plan that deserves your attention and your time and your money, and you need to see conversion and you need to measure the conversion to see if you're getting the most bang for your buck, and the bang for your buck is your time as much as your money.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I want to ask you about that. And I want to ask about, because people ask about this all the time, two things. One is the thumbnail. How important is that? And how do you create a good thumbnail? So this is where I hear people go round and round is, do I hire a VA to do it? Do I need a graphic designer? Is it something I can design myself? Should it be authentic to my character? What colors do I use? Give me some input on that.
Yes, it does matter.
Okay.
First of all, it does. Second of all, it needs to be readable. So people that are putting these you got to take your phone and look at the thumbnails on your phone, not on your computer.
Without reading glasses.
Yes. So the problem is people are doing it and they're like teeny, and they're like, I can't even see what that is. Like, how are you going to grab someone? Right.
Mhm.
And then there's something about the colors that do matter. It's like yellow, blue, green, orange are the four colors.
Hmm.
that you'll see people use those any version of those colors, consistently pick your colors out or alternate and make
Mhm.
sure that they're very clear text and none of this like scripty stuff that people make it look so pretty. And
Mhm.
Canva's a great place to go that you can have YouTube templates set up for you, and do the, like, the expressions. You can have the cutouts and all that stuff. But it's about, I like when my VA grabs the in video expression. So the video, so the thumbnail
You mean with your eyes
changes.
closed, where you're like,
Yeah, but they'll catch one that's like, it's so you're wearing the outfit that you're in
You're
the
in
video. Does
action.
that make
Yeah.
sense? It's not like some cookie cutter thing over and over. It does matter. The words and the title do matter. That's also
I use
SEO.
vidIQ for that part. You can
Yep.
upload, if you are going to pay for TubeBuddy or vidIQ, it will analyze your thumbnail and give you a ranking so you
Mhm.
can play with the words that you've got on it so it's more attention grabbing.
And then
Interesting. Okay.
the title also needs to have your keywords in it. Everything, the title, the description, everything needs to have the keywords built into it.
Okay. Now I heard you say you have a VA to do it.
Mhm.
Is that the suggestion that you have for most people, unless they have like a marketing background? Is Canva good enough? Can somebody go in there and use
Yeah.
Canva and put it
Canva is
into
pretty much
vidIQ?
set up for you. Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Okay.
I actually have it set up with my VA where when they do all my editing, they send me 4 thumbnails, 2 reels, and then 2 versions of the edit for each
Okay.
video with
Okay.
subtitles and without subtitles.
Okay. Now, some of the other things that I see you do in your videos, and I'm wondering how important this is you've got little like graphics that pop up, you've got sound effects, you sometimes cut to different
Mhm.
graphics or little videos within the video. That
Mhm.
seems like advanced YouTube for me, but how important is that? And do you think somebody should be hiring somebody to help with that when you get to that phase?
That was something I made a decision. Like I shoot all my content myself. Like actually my little camera's here. And Deb got the same one, but the better one.
I hate it, just so you know.
But
Why,
It's too
what,
complicated.
I
For
told
somebody
you to
who's
get
starting
cheating.
out, I do
You didn't
think
listen to me.
uh, you're right. I mean, like it's sad. So y'all need to know I am the sucker that I'm like, ooh, shiny object. I'm a sucker. That setup that she's got is beautiful. Mine is too complicated and that makes it hard.
My ring
what
light
is
setup
that camera you
here.
have, Alicia? Product
It's a
placement. Yeah.
Sony. It's white. I call her Snow White.
No, give the
And
number.
I don't know what the number is,
Mine
but
is
it's
sitting on my table over there.
what's
It's
so
some
cool about this is when I film it, I can see myself in the thing.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And then this is the mic. I took off the fuzzy thing that goes with it because when
Yeah,
I
yeah.
film, I'm at home. But if you're outside, you can do that. But I just literally have this here and I film I batch film 4 to 6 at a time. And then I send them and then I move them over to my Google Drive and then I send them each to my VA. And I say, this is video number 2, video, like 52, need the edit, da, 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 da. And then I'll give them the title and I'll give them, when I need this by, and then they send it back.
So if
Okay.
you have an iPhone, you go to video
Mhm.
and in the top right corner, it says HD 30. If you
Mhm.
hit 4K
Yeah.
and then go to, there's some number, go to 24, 4K, perfect.
Yeah, you can do that too.
All
I
right.
just
And
for simplicity.
Like
for
if you
people
don't have
that
it, but
are
if you're gonna
listening,
do it and get into it, that's
Absolutely.
no,
You need the
yes.
camera. Right.
For people
because
that are
I
listening, you might want to go to, speaking of YouTube, which is Meredith Fogel team, and watch this because you can see the camera that Alicia just showed with a little mic on top of it. You can see what Deborah was talking about.
And I
Um,
got Michael bought the whole kit for me and the stand, you can take it off. And then I also have a mic set up for my phone. So if you're going to use your phone, I have it set up where this is like a portable mic setup. You put this in your camera, and then this is the microphones.
the mic that goes on
So
you.
I can interview people or I can walk around and have that thing over there and walk over here and there. And I have a stand
The
for my phone.
Bluetooth
Yeah.
connection mic. Cool. Cool,
So
cool.
I
there's like
like
this,
I
this
like
wasn't.
wired microphones just for alternately because I've had too many fails on the wireless mics. So if I'm not going to be walking around a lot, I really prefer a wired connection.
I
Okay.
haven't had any problems, and the big mic on my Rode on the Sony camera is perfectly fine. because I close the door, I film in here, and it catches me. I make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, it is. And I want to ask you this question. Editing, that's the next one. So we've got the strategy, we've got the equipment, editing. Is that something that you would offload to a VA, or do you think people can, if they have bandwidth and time and desire, edit
No
on
one
their
has bandwidth or time. And unless you are a video editor, I would say send it out.
send it out to edit? Okay, and is a VA the best option for that?
It's the cheapest.
Okay, okay.
Unless you've got a teenage kid who has time and isn't
And
doing
they
their
don't.
schoolwork
And then they're
anyway.
not going to do it for you on the time you want it, and you'll be fighting with your child. So it's not worth it.
Or they'll charge you
So
an exorbitant amount to do it if they do deem you worthy.
I would say that doing your own editing, you will become hypercritical of your work. It is much more effective to send it off to someone because everybody gets self-conscious when they're looking at their own work. So
Yeah.
that's just my 2 cents worth about practicality is let somebody else decide what's good and what's not good. And if they think it's good, trust them, post it.
Okay. All right. So we're getting close to time here, but I want to ask a couple more quick questions. One is, you mentioned using this as a lead generation pillar and engaging in a strategic, sounds to me like a consistent effort to do that. How? So you've got, let's say you've gotten creation, you've got content creation, you've edited it, you've posted it. How do you turn what you posted into leads for your business?
That comes back to the question you asked about keywords. You have to make sure. So if you're doing this purposely to get buyers and sellers, then where is your hyper local market? Too many times I'm seeing people put their name or their brokerage name. That is not going to be found. I'm sorry. So it needs to have like the neighborhood you're serving. So you're in Kentlands, so it needs to be living in Kentlands.
Okay.
Right. Moving to Kentlands, like something with that. And then you can do dash with Meredith Fogel. Right.
Okay. So if that's what we're going for, we want that.
And then that's one thing. Every single video has to be tagged with living in Kentlands. You have to own the Kentlands. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So
So
someone types in and they're moving to the area or they're searching for a home. It's good. They're going to find it. That's going to be the organic finding. Number one.
And then you could also add things like the best dog parks in Kentlands, the best grocery stores in Kentlands, the best dry cleaners.
So Kentlands, everything. Okay. So will people just then magnetically come to you, or you have to do something else?
Yeah, they're going to search you because think about anybody that's relocating. Like, let's say someone's getting relocated to work in DC, but they want to live in the Kentlands. They heard that's where they should live.
Right.
You're going to type in there,
So which is correct.
Yes. So they're going to type in there. Oh, someone at the Pentagon or whatever told me to move here. So they're going to type in Kentlands real estate or Kentlands homes, and you're going to pop up and you're going to look so friendly, and they need a realtor. And they're like, oh, this girl knows everything. She's talking about where to get your hair done, this restaurant, her kids go there. She lives in, look at those houses. And then what they do is they learn who you are. So by the time they come to you, they're like, they already know you.
And to piggyback on that, like spot on what she said, but they are not going to come after seeing one video. I think the misconception is, oh, I started in YouTube, but you got to understand people don't decide to move from DC to the Kentlands in one, like look one time and go.
No.
They are exploring and doing their research for months ahead of time. Sometimes it's shorter, but the average person who buys and sells real estate, especially in the price points you work, they are going to be looking and exploring many options, and they're going to come back to YouTube, back to Google, back to all the things frequently. And because that's where the consistency, because you're going to pop up in multiple times, it's the repetition of seeing Meredith Fogel, Kentlands over and over on repeat visits. That's what puts the pieces together in their brain.
Okay.
You're also going to speak to the certain person you want to serve, right? So if you're serving government workers or people that work at certain companies, when you speak out, you are going to be like, hey, do you ever have a problem when you move and you're really frustrated about where you're going to get your hair done? Do you like, it's a hobby? Are you a swimmer, or do you like to watch plays, or because I know you love theater. Like, you have to think about the person that you want to sell and work with. Who is that person? And you got to talk to that person like they're there.
Okay. Yeah.
And so when that person sees it, they're like, oh my God, she's talking to me.
Yes. Which makes them stop.
Work with her.
Yeah, when they see the video. Okay, last question is this. Is there a way, because if I'm thinking about like Facebook, that's an easy one. Instagram, you're getting into people's DMs, right? Like you start to reply, comment on what they're replying to you, first of all, when they're liking, you're DMing them, and you're creating a conversation. How can you do that via YouTube?
You can. There's a comment section under each
Okay.
video.
So
And you
they
can
You could also
comment.
put in the description the link to contact you directly.
Yeah. And on
Okay.
your on your about me, how to work with Meredith, that's
Yeah.
all there, but they can comment in your videos for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Call to
All
action in
right.
every video is important. At the end, just say like, I would love to serve you. If you're moving to the Kentlands or know someone that is, please have them give me a call. This is my
Okay.
number. Like it's the call to action in every single one, of course.
Got it. Okay. Actually, last question. Bonus question here is, ideally, how often are you posting content to create a strategy that actually is effective?
I'm on Wednesdays and Fridays, but I post at
Okay.
like 7:30 to 8 a.m. every Wednesday and Friday. So
Okay.
you have to
And
make a decision on what day you're going to post. If you're going to do one a week, one a week. If you're going to do two a month, do two a month. If you're going to do two long form and then two reels, I mean, two shorts, which is like reels for YouTube, you're going to
Mhm.
do that. But you need to have
Okay.
a consistency because what you're telling the algorithm, the machine that you're putting the feeding everything in, is that this person's serious and they're posting every week. They're posting every other week. So they're not going away. So we're going to start pumping their stuff out.
Okay. And is that time that you actually are publishing important too? Is it a consistent
Yes,
time of
you
day?
actually can, when you publish it, there's a place when you do the public, when you check a public, it'll say private, unlisted, or public. When you check that this is schedule, it'll
Mhm.
pull up and it'll show you when most people are on, your people are on watching. So then you can choose, you want to post right before the highest peak is, because you want it
Okay.
sitting there when they come on.
Okay. And is it okay to change that as you watch patterns?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Wow, you guys, thank you so much. You gave everybody listening a fabulous roadmap, some really good essential tools, tips for traction with a YouTube strategy. And I hope our audience has come away with not only great information, but also a good understanding of why having a YouTube presence and a strategy in place in at least some kind of format is important. All right. Thank you both. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. If you want to find Alicia and Deborah on YouTube, Alicia, how do they find you on YouTube?
I am at The Empowered Woman, Alicia Soikawa. So you can find me
All
that way.
right.
Yep, and I'll show
Deborah.
up.
If you're an agent, you know you can look, but don't subscribe. My real estate is Clario Real Estate, the name of my company, but I also have a YouTube channel for my talk radio program, and that is called Inside Georgia Real Estate.
I do
Awesome.
have a real estate one.
Mhm.
It's the
Well,
collaborative.
that was more talk radio.
All right. So you guys know where to find them. Don't subscribe to them, but look and see what they're doing so you can R&D their strategies. We hope you've taken some useful tools away today. Thank you again for listening and watching. This has been So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. We'll see you next time. If you're interested in learning how to become that go-to local real estate expert all the sellers call to give you their listings, read Farming for Real Estate Agents. You can pick up your copy today on Amazon, Kindle, on Audible, or anywhere you get books.